Alrighty, fellow warriors, generals, tacticians, and strategists, welcome back to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. One of the greatest parts of Bannerlord is the vast detail and variety of landscapes, cities, castles, and towns the game provides for us to explore. Most are unique and many are just stunningly beautiful, essentially allowing us to step back into time and wander the dirt roads of villages from 1,000 years ago. Still, even greater than their beauty is their use for you in the game as tactical arenas, locations where your greater tactical execution and advanced strategies can be put to work as we seek more and more diabolical ways to vanquish our enemies. In this new series, we explore some of my favorite villages, both from the perspective of their sheer beauty and exploration, but more importantly, as ideal places to massacre your foe when you are in a tough spot. Now, these other troops may end up engaging Popsia. Sure if I want to continue this episode or not. I'm not sure where the fuck these forces are going, other than the fact that I raided their village. I guess they're pissed off. Oh, you know what? I raided Sturgia's Bergam for an episode, so maybe that's why. That was a couple, 4 days ago. But they're definitely heading this way, this Sturgian force. So we'll have another battle for this episode here. This is hopefully going to be at Popsia as well. We will fight these fucks here. And again, you know, almost outnumbered, well, it's 4-1, right? 2,000 against 500 here. I'm not going to waste your time with doing upgrades right now. This is already going to be a long episode. I will show you the armies, though. Here's let's see, this is the Sturgian force that we're dealing with here. And this is actually a pretty strong fucking force. That last force was pretty weak, right? I mean, I said it at the time, and it showed up in battle. Lots of low-level troops. But look at this. Elite Cataphract 65, lots of legionnaires and avliatons. The other army's not so respectable. It's more decent than great. They might have 100 or 120, but that Sturgian force is tough. And I forgot to, well, I can just get on with the battle here, but the infantry in that Sturgian force was significant enough that they will probably charge this time. This may not be a ranged battle. This will probably be less of a range skirmish. Look at how beautiful this is. I mean, I just want to buy a house here and live forever on this hillside. I mean, how gorgeous. So this Sturgian force is likely to come aggressive again right down the slot here, right? So knowing that, it's not for sure, but it's likely, we are going to flank and destroy, right? We are going to bait with an infantry division towards the center, drag the enemy in, and then destroy them with flanks, right? With ammunition. So the 6th Corps here, we need to resize this. I'm going to put this one on the left this time. The 6th Corps is shock troops, skirmishers, and it looks like there's even some Battanian fiend champs in there, which are, you know, they're essentially shock troop skirmishers, right? They shoot arrows and they swing their two-handed weapon. We'll give them the 8th Corps here to defend their backside, right? Just like prison. Now this 3rd Corps is going to be vulnerable. I'd love to put it here, but they're going to get shot. So it's shield and shock, but I need the 2nd for the other side. You know what? Let's get creative. Let's use the 7th. I can almost hear you guys saying, use a shield and shock, buddy. You're teaching us this shit. Let's do it. Shield and shock. Let's put a line of cav right here. These guys' sole job is to protect these shock troops, and look at how beautiful that is. In fact, you know what we can do even better? Let's make these guys javelin cav. That way they're throwing javelins as the enemy approaches, right? The more damage the enemy's taking, the better. They're going to get an onslaught, and then we'll have this 3rd Corps back here protected. That's just another way of getting a cav division into this battle, protecting this division, and this skirmisher shock division, the 3rd, can now maul the enemy as the enemy attacks this 1st division, right? Anticipating the enemy, zerging this division here. There's a lot of skirmishers in there too, wildlings and whatnot. We still have a good amount of elite troops left from that first battle because, of course, it was so successful. Now we're here. Let's get that cav division. No, not attack. I want these guys stretched out here to protect the archer's flank. You know, and undoubtedly there's going to be cav coming in, but I don't need them to stream in at full speed. Now I like to get down to ground level here. See, these archers can shoot anybody approaching that infantry, and then we'll flank them with the 5th. We'll put the 5th right on that the side of the archers. They'll be able to shoot over the head of the infantry there into the enemy, and I think this is going to be massively destructive. Where are you guys going? Don't go anywhere. Stay there. Of course, a new battle, so I got new javelins. How beautiful, right? We can get on some artillery here. All of our guys, in fact, have fresh ammo. Disadvantage the enemy, right? We've got a beautiful sunny sky here to fire our javelins into the backs of the enemy. They're all penned up just like the last battle. And we should be able to do major destruction here. Where are you going, Lord? I don't think so, motherfucker. Let's mow them down. Anybody here trying to get to the backside, we're going to prioritize. But I also have to focus on that infantry reserve. See those guys coming up? These guys are storming up, and that's a ton of infantry. So they're under assault. They're under assault just like we thought they would be, and it's bad, right? They're just getting clipped and fucking broken to pieces. We'll start, now that they're zerging towards the center, we'll start kiting here. The sides are sort of protected too, right? There's that ledge there the enemy can't go over, and the enemy is under an absolute assault of ranged weapons. You just hear them dying, just wah! They're just getting fucking smoked from 4 different directions. Archers, let's get the 3rd Corps back, and now we'll square up that 1st Division, right? Protect those guys. Now the enemy has nothing, no targets, right? We're kiting over here. The 1st Division's in a solid square with their backs to the barn. The enemy's getting pounded with arrows. They're just kind of like all over the place. I don't think they know what to do, and it doesn't matter what they do here, they're going to get killed. So our 3rd's kind of engaging. Let's charge at the 6th and 8th. We'll do a little waiting in here. Oh, you know what? They're pulling back. Let's pull back our 3rd then. We still got javelins to expend. The archers are still working. No reason to charge these guys just yet. Let's soften them up a little more. That chick ate shit. I thought for a second she might get up. Look at, they're trying to, they're feebly trying to attack the square. Some guys made it over here, so we're going to charge at the 3rd. There's cav mixed in here. Of course, the enemy has a massive amount of troops, right? There's just fucking enemy troops everywhere. But like Napoleon said, that just means we don't have to aim, right? We just fucking unload on anything. Just swing your weapon and you're going to kill some fucks. Kill Battanian Fiends, just waylay troops here. And it has been an absolute massacre. The enemy's half retreating, half jammed up on themselves, getting shot off their horses here. And this was amazingly destructive. Okay, they're starting to regroup, which is a good decision on their behalf, right? Get out of here before all of us are executed, but we're going to take out as many as we can. They got archers up here, so I put a cav wall right in front of these guys. It also protects our charging units from the enemy, right? The enemy still has archers. This way, our guys can pursue in relative peace, and I mean relative peace, but that cav wall will absorb a lot of arrows from downstream there, so to speak. Now we're going to butcher all this light cav. They have heavy cav mixed in here with this mediocre cav. The enemy already had their first cav wave annihilated, and these guys are getting annihilated too. They can't move. You can just hear the arrows just fucking smoking everything in sight. Those guys up there are having a ball. I haven't had a battle this destructive and this enjoyable in quite some time. Out of the way, horses. I need a shield. The Jarl... You don't listen, you get killed. The Jarl needs a shield. We'll reset our divisions, 3rd, 6th, 4th, 3rd, 6th, 1st, 7th, and 8th back in their respective positions here. That cav wall is going to allow everybody to reset here with marginal or no damage, right? I don't see any death spam on the retreat, and that's something I've learned to do. You put a cav wall and shield wall there, and they absorb arrows. They get javelins thrown at them, but they're not throwing it at your troops that are regrouping, right? A highly effective way. The military term for it on large scale would be a rear guard. And those guys did a magnificent job, right? These cav, they're all getting a raise. We'll give them a mistress after we conquer the next empire. Things will go well for them. We'll give them some of the enemy's territory, give them a nice chateau or whatever, something like that. And reward them for their service. Now, I can't tell. I think these guys got told accidentally to charge, but this was all bait. I put them there because I wanted them to throw 1,000. What are these guys doing? The archers were like charging us. You're not making it back to their lines there, motherfucker. Charge us. Insolent fucking archers. So this is intentional. I'm putting the infantry here with the intention of them collecting javelins. And what I mean by that is to put it crudely, these guys basically being bait so that the greedy Jarl can pick up as many javelins as possible. You see javelins are just flying everywhere. Now we'll have them move back. We'll move in here with our gigantic fucking pizza oven-sized shield, and we'll collect all these errant, pathetic throws of the javelins by the enemy, and then immediately throw them right back into the throat of the enemy and teach them a good lesson. I can still hear javelins hitting their shield, right? But a lot of them are hitting the ground, which means that I'll be able to pick them up. Now we're going to move the cav division in here so that they can do the same thing, right? I'm going to throw javelins here. Our guys can pick up javelins. In fact, I can have our other divisions pick up some of these errant javelins if I want. You don't see any death spam. Well, I spoke too soon. There's one guy that got dropped. But these guys are doing a magnificent job of letting me restock our ammo. We can reposition those guys here and continue on with this throttling. Been a breathless episode. It's been fast and furious compared to that last episode. I often worry that sometimes guys won't see great battles like this because the first episode's a little slow, which makes me think, you know what, I might even just put this battle first. There's no rules. I can do that shit. I can just put this battle first, have the other battle second, and then you guys can watch the more exhilarating battle first. And if you want hunger for more, there's a whole nother battle coming. Now, I'm not saying the other battle was garbage. I'm just saying it was slower paced. This one is furious paced. Look at this noble bitch. Get out of here. She's smoked. Look at this guy. He gets stuck on her horse and smoked. Look at it's a factory. They just run right up and get smoked on her horse. All right, I'm out of javelins. Let's cut their arms off here. They just walked, literally ran right into that one. All right, get a few more javelins here, but I want to speed this along, and the enemy's morale has to be hurting from those beatings. So let's put on another fucking nasty attack here. Let's see what can I do. Second, 8th. We can drag the second, 8th. Let's charge at these divisions. It's going to take them a few seconds to get into the enemy. And what we're going to do here is while the enemy's busy dealing with that attack, we're going to flank with the other half of the army. Most of these guys are near full health, right? We devastated the enemy so badly there. This timing might not be perfect, but optimally the other side will engage that enemy force and distract them so that we can pour in here from the flank, charge them with cav, set up skirmishers. We have the 3rd division and an elite cav division over here, and then an archer division as well. I'm trying to get my cav to lead in shield wall, but there's so many of those fucking hedges and ditch rows that I can't get a really good formation. But this is setting up beautifully. I definitely hear the enemy attacking them, and there's carnage and chaos. The enemy's kind of roaring. They're trying to get riled up for battle, and they're getting some kills because not all our troops are assembled, but now our archers are getting set up over here. This is going to be savage. In fact, the enemy, look, they tried to regroup directly the way that we were. They're probably like, what the fuck? The enemy's here too? And look at now they're routing. They're just heading straight downhill. Just like, get us the fuck out of here. Actually, can this be a full... I thought they were just reforming. I misspoke. Are they actually routing already? They have 4 times the number of troops that we do. And there's no way that we killed most of their troops already. I mean, we definitely gave them a beating. Well, let's apply the pressure here, right? Let's finish this battle off. There was a good demonstration of some savage-ass tactics right there. Let's see if we can break the enemy's morale completely to pieces here, rip their army apart. We're going to just trample all these guys downhill. Oh, shit! I might have got killed if that tree didn't block my fall there. On steep hills like this, your horse can definitely leap like 100 yards and kill you. You know, you'll take damage, the horse will take damage. I gotta be a little careful here. The enemy's behavior looks like they're just setting up to reform. It's really weird. They're on the other side of the fucking map, but I gotta be careful here. In fact, they're starting to shoot. Fuck. Thank God I got this shield. All right, let's get these archers set up on these high hills here. This has turned into a crazy. Never mind. That was a little feint attack before. They were trying to save some face there before they run they're sprinting off the battlefield, right? They're just literally running as fast as they can out of here. And that's what happens when you enact savage tactics like that. That was, you know, obviously we have a lot of good tactics on the channel. That was one of the most savage engagements. And look at this gal, she's stoic. She's like, yeah, it's another day at the office. Crushed him again. But that was awesome. I mean, that was a complete throttling of that Sturgian force. Even though they had good troops, that first couple waves we completely immolated. Oh, we did kill a lot. We killed almost 1,400. So only 500 or so fled, and we lost 73 troops. So this is dominance right here. I don't say that a lot on the channel. Well, maybe I do, but that was extreme dominance there. That was like an absolutely destructive battle for the enemy. And this is with wounded companions. You saw most of these guys were wounded, and we've got all kinds of troops wounded, and we just fucking bowled over these troops. No wonder they ran. All right, I was going to say we'll wrap this episode up, but with the beauty and the magic of editing, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you this battle first. Of course, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So I said explain. I'm going to show, basically, this was 2 battles in a row. I'm going to show you the first battle after this. I know that's kind of strange. And then we will follow this up with a custom battle. You see a bunch of worthless loot here. We will fight a custom battle in Popsia, and we will try to show you that you can win here even with mediocre troops, right? Even if you don't have gods and armor on your side. All right, so yeah, we'll follow this up a little bit of editing, and I'll be right back. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, but especially advanced field command and battlefield tactics. And we have a village that we have hunkered down in. We did a little raiding. We raided a couple other villages around here, and the dogs of war are after us. There's actually like 5 armies chasing us right now. I did a little maneuvering. We reloaded a save game where I got kind of cornered by a small force. I wanted to fight more here, and as you can see, we've got more, right? This is going to be over 3,000 fucks, Western Empire fucks, attacking us here at Popsia. Popsia is an interesting little village that I've scouted. Very steep terrain, very tight housing and streets, and you can see our army here, right? I like to give you a little glimpse every once in a while. All of these sisters, these are all sisters, they're all savages, right? 300 plus athletics, 330 bow. We have a very powerful army. I began to give that disclaimer because every once in a while people think that they can just roll out and do this with a new army. That's not really how it works. I say do this. These episodes are filmed live. There's no certainty of victory here, but what there is a certainty of is tactics. We're going to show you tactics in a situation here, and again, this series is designed to show you villages that you can retreat to if you're in the open field and the terrain is less advantageous than the village. I'm pretty confident this village terrain is going to be awesome for us. There's 2 other armies chasing us here. You can see there's all this Western Empire force. There's a Northern Empire army, and then there's Sturgians that are heading this way as well. 3,200 fucking enemies. So this is going to be very difficult, but like I said, we have a very powerful army, and there's a channel where I think we can make the enemy kind of fight their way through that's going to be very effective. Fuck, it's not very light out. Hopefully you can see. I thought there was going to be enough daylight. Actually, you know what? There's plenty of daylight. You can see. It's just high up. It's a little foggy. It's a little fuzzy. Down here, you should be able to see. There's a couple paths, and there's all kinds of hedgerows and fucking rocks, walls, and houses and shit. The enemy's going to be very much channeled through here. They'll be able to attack on the flanks, of course, but this village, not only is it unique and beautiful, but this represents an outstanding potential defense candidate. All right, so let's do some strategy. Let's talk some tactics here. So obviously what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to funnel the enemy. We're going to try to flank the enemy. We're going to try to use square and shield and shock strategies. We're basically breaking out the full bag of tricks for these kind of episodes. For some reason or other, I don't have an 8th corps, so I've got to reassemble that. And who's going to lead it here? Let's see. You know what? Let's have the Jarl. Let's have Zuvan and his giant fucking page of bonuses. We'll put him in charge of the 8th corps. We'll have to give the 8th corps a new captain, or a 3rd corps a new captain, but that's fine. Actually, Varag is a savage badass too, right? Like, we've got our backup hitters, so to speak. Our backup bench footballers are better than most starters, on other teams. Zuvan over here, and Varag, his uncle, manning the 3rd. All right, so let's start stretching units out here. I'd like to get down to ground level so I can see what the line of sight looks like, right? These guys can clearly see all the way down into that valley. That means they'll have excellent line of sight of approaching troops. And we're going to have essentially a tiered defense here, right? We're going to have multiple... How come these guys are spread? I want you guys in a line formation. Sometimes you got to do a square first and then a shield wall. If you've never seen that, that's a little bug you can just kind of fix that way. The second cav... I've got to anticipate all the different directions the enemy may flank us from. It's not always easy in a battle like this, of course, because I have never fought on this battlefield. I have no idea what to expect. The third corps is shock and skirmishers. They can be nicely protected by that cav line, shield and shock approach, and that barn. And then I think it makes sense for us to get the elite 8th corps on that side, and then I think probably... skirmishers here. They don't have much protection. I'm not thrilled about that, and I don't have enough cav divisions to really give them more protection, but they will be throwing javelins and shooting arrows as the enemy approaches. We're going to have losses in this battle, and sometimes if you don't have a solution for a given problem, you just do the best you can. Now the 4th is up close because I may need to use them in a square or offensively in a shield wall, and the 5th will have a nice little flanking window there on the enemy to shoot down into the valley. Now we'll hold fire until the enemy's a little closer. The enemy had a lot of archers, so there's a possibility that they don't come in as hot as they normally do. When you're outnumbered like this, what's this guy? You get off your horse. This guy gets off his horse and fights with his men. That guy, that's awesome. A lot of times they'll do exactly this. Well, I can't see their infantry for sure, but their cav only is coming in, right? So we're going to do a little sniping here. We're going to mow these fucks down. We're going to open fire and concentrate on them, because what the enemy's allowing us to do here is fight them in detail. They're allowing us to do that, which is kind of like allowing your opponent to win. And get a little jump fucking javelin in that guy's head. And we're going to just thin the herd here a little bit. Mow down their lords, demoralize them a little bit. Hopefully before their infantry even comes up here, they've lost 100 heavy horse. And these are all elite horsemen, right? You look at the death spam. Imperial elite cataphract, Imperial elite cataphract. We're fighting a very strong army, but I fought a lot harder. And what I mean by that is that these armies are not nearly as strong as a lot of the armies that we typically fight, either for the campaign, for the 300 series, or for this village series, right? Our campaign, the nobles are usually very tough. They usually have very stacked armies, and I want to say this army is actually below average, right? It's not that strong. Now I know there's elite cataphract running everywhere, right? It looks pretty strong, but I don't think there's going to be any what's the word, depth for it, or these are their starting lineup is good, and then I think once we get to their bench, it's going to be a blowout. Does that make sense? Hopefully you get the sports analogy there. These motherfuckers are trying to rampage through here. This insolent fucking lord. You have no chance of surviving here. This guy, I can't see him. Fucking guy. Yeah, catch a javelin, you fuck. They're not about to invade our sacred territory back here. This is the 8th Corps. That's our elite knights. And we're, of course, going to protect our shock troops. We're getting our javelin skills on again. I had a horrendous mouse there for, I don't know, like 10 or 15 episodes, and I've got a much better mouse. People ask all the time. It's literally like a $20 gaming mouse. I mean, I guess I can put the name of it on there, but I don't consider the mouse like amazing mouse. It's just consistent, right? I had a really inconsistent mouse, and that's no way to play Bannerlord. It's a highly precise game. You need to have some precision with your movements. And a nice mouse helps you mow down guys, right? I no longer have the reflexes to fight with you young fellas. I know a lot of the guys on the channel. I studied the demographics of who's on and when you guys are on, right? Because I'm trying to provide content that you guys like and when you want it. And you guys, you 25 to 34-year-olds, which is the most common group that watches this Bannerlord channel, you guys have much better reaction than me. But back in the day, I would have given you a run for your money at games like Quake and stuff like that. I was a first-person shooter. I played a lot more. I don't play them at all now, frankly, because I'd probably get butchered. Oh, sorry, horse. I tend to abuse my horse a little bit, but, you know, no harm, no foul. But Bannerlord is much more my style, right? It's a lot slower. You don't have to have fucking Jedi reflexes like these first-person shooter games. As long as you have, you know, some good hand-eye coordination, you can mow fucks down with javelins. All right, it's another dipshit cav wave. These guys didn't learn from their first 100 guys or 150 guys that got massacred. Now we're out of javelins. but it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're just going to deteriorate here, right? I break out this very fast glaive. There's more risk. I got to obviously get face to face with the enemy here, but this thing just has Cav Killer written all over it, right? It's very fast. It's not very long, but it's very fast, right? What you tell your wife on the wedding night or the first time you're in bed together. It's not very long, but it's very fast. It's got some good impact. All right, so continuing to skirmish here, and I was afraid of this. And what I say is afraid of this is sometimes these skirmishing battles, well, I don't know. Maybe you guys, actually, I'd love to know. I just realized I can just ask you fellas. That's the beauty of this narration. What do you guys think of these ranged battles? I think they suck. I mean, it's, I guess I enjoy sort of the skirmish itself. But I guess what I'm thinking is I suppose that you guys think these suck. It's just kind of slow, and it's a skirmish between their cav, and of course their cav is basically fucking brain dead toast. I just carved through them with a fucking hot iron knife. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like these type of battles where there's like a ranged skirmish and horse archers are a factor? Or do you guys, are you young guys impatient, right? TLDR, you guys want instant gratification and death? Do you guys prefer where like infantry is clashing right away? Let me know, because I can always either edit these out or I just won't even upload these type of episodes. But if you guys like these, if you like these skirmishes where you can sort of see how we handle skirmishes like this, and there's not a lot of magic to it, then we'll be sure to post them. I can't believe I haven't asked you fellas more stuff like that, but please leave feedback on things like that. Do you like, in other words, to see the irregular battles? Or that looked like lava. The sun on the ground there literally looked like lava. Kill this fucking Kanzagard. It's a cool effect, the sun shining through the trees there. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you prefer fast battles, or if you guys like these, or if you like them both. Like, all that feedback is helpful for me. I'm trying to provide content you guys enjoy, and of course, if you guys give me feedback, I'm an intelligent monkey, right? I'll make some adjustments based on what you guys like. Well, they sound exuberant. They're fucking blowing their horn and shit like that, but they're not coming up. Every time I look at their numbers, they're like 140 units away. So we're going to try a little tactic I've used in the past. Basically, what you do is you put all of your units into a tight square and put them behind a barn. And then there is no more... Get over here. These fucking guys are lollygagging. Then there is no more ranged battle, right? The enemy has nothing to shoot at, and so it obviously gets aggressive and approaches you. You have to remember, we got attacked here. The enemy attacked us, so they're forced to come to us. And of course, if we're out of line of sight, that'll basically trigger the AI to say, hey, okay, you know what? We've got a... God damn it, took a spear right to the fucking chest. That'll trigger the AI to get more aggressive here, and we can get on a real battle. I mean, you can have a ranged battle that's 40 minutes sometimes. I've had, where the two sides just exchange arrows. Now, these fucking insolent units are not doing what they're told. These are guys from the 4th Corps, and I think they're just bugged. I've seen this before sometimes in tree scenarios, in tree battles. These guys are stuck or bugged or whatever, and no matter what I do, follow me, square, point them over there, they'll just stand there. And unfortunately, here's what's happening. The enemy's like, well, we don't need to advance. There are targets right there. I literally want to kill these guys. They're fucking with my plan, right? I got a plan to speed this episode up. So unfortunately... I don't know actually what's going to happen. The enemy may just shoot fucking arrows at him at 200 range for like the next 5 minutes. So I apologize for that. In fact, I have the ability, of course, to use a little bit of editing. We can just fast forward through this section later on. But nevertheless, I'll continue narrating just in case the enemy all of a sudden surges up. That was my last javelin here. I'm getting kind of desperate, trying to bait the enemy. Getting shot. That's not good for my long-term health. It's like cigarettes, right? Don't try to bait the enemy by yourself. Not good for your long-term health. This guy, oh, I thought he was stuck in there. I hear him cheering down there. They're like, yeah, yeah, and then they don't do anything. They just sit there. I mean, we're killing their horse archers, but these fucking guys being stuck over here is fucking me. Nothing I can do about it. The horseman just standing here, he's stuck in the trees too. And I hear them getting shot, right? A couple of them have their shields up, but most of them are just standing there. Just every once in a while they grunt, just fucking dipshits. Yeah, the enemy's just piled up there in a giant Zerg, just shooting at these guys. Look at, he's got 87 arrows in his shield. I wonder if I can push him. Maybe I can push them out of their. Now they just stand there like dipshits. So unfortunately, right? I guess if I leave this in the episode, you get to just see this unfortunate part of Bannerlord. I think I'll just edit this out, but we'll see. It depends on how soon the enemy charges. They've got like sad little attempts to charge us with 3 sword sisters. They were gallant, all right, and they died gallantly. They still died though. Getting frustrated. I'm starting to kill animals here. Starting to turn into a sociopath. In fact, this guy's a dead man. This guy's like stuck in the wall. I got archers coming up here trying to shoot me, motherfuckers. Let's attack them with the second corps. Now I'm starting to get belligerent. You guys have never seen the belligerent Jarl. I have a ferocious temper. It's so ferocious that I don't engage in a lot of sports because I'm so fucking competitive. Like if I play dodgeball, I'm just a holy terror out there. And I literally, in my moments of insanity, I want to like maul people on the field. I don't want to kill people, but I want to like obliterate them, right? And just completely annihilate them in the game, right? I used to have a bumper sticker that said, fuck the other team, right? I'm just competitive. I'm an alpha male, right? Most firefighters are. And in my older age, I've learned that a temper usually just gets you into trouble, right? You usually make very poor decisions when you're emotional. And so I've learned to quell my anger. But in this situation, I've got no problem being angry at the enemy here. These fucking assholes being stuck is stalling us out in this fucking episode. The enemy's just sitting there. In fact, I'm going to resort to a little something here. I can speed this shit up. They're firing arrows now at 2.5 times the normal rate. I'm just going to sit here and observe. This will speed it up in case I don't edit this out, and we will see what the fuck happens here with this dipshit force. I can see him shooting down there. Okay, they're thinking about moving, and I think at this point I've had enough of static battles here. I'm looking up at the power bar, and that's amazing. It basically says we've been scratched so far. We've got, I'm not going to look at the actual status bar of how many guys we have, but the enemy's been mauled, and we've barely been hurt. So I think it's time to start putting on an offensive beating here on this enemy. I mean, it depends what they do. Obviously, if they charge up soon, then I'll change my mind here. But everybody has a limit to how patient they're willing to be. And this fucking pathetic, indolent, and insolent. I love that those two words are almost identical. Fucking insolent, indolent enemy here is just taking their sweet-ass time. Look at this crazy battlefield. There's like these huge ridges and shit like that. And if you're still watching and I don't edit this out, at least, you know, I've been able to hopefully keep your attention by swearing and telling you about my temper, telling you young kids control your temper, right? Like I wish I had someone when I was 20 saying, okay, control your temper, right? Take it out on the gym, right? Go lift some weights or something like that. Don't get angry because you almost always make bad decisions. You'll have like a breakup with your girlfriend or some shit, or you'll road rage and get 30 years in prison or some shit. It's basically anger is never good unless you're in a fight. And I think it was Marcus Aurelius that said that anger is only useful in a fight. It was one of those fucking famous ancient philosopher king warriors. These motherfuckers just sitting there. My guys are getting shot. That's another part of the problem, right? So the enemy's like, all right, juicy targets. We can shoot guys right around the edge of the map there. I wish this was different in Bannerlord. But it does make me wonder if there's ever PvP in Bannerlord, if they don't put timers on it or something like that, this is what players are going to do too, because they're going to be competing fiercely against each other, and they're both going to know that if they lose 50 troops because they charge recklessly and the other guy's patient, the patient guy's going to win, right? So if they do PvP, I sure hope they put time on it. If you're a modder and you're trying to do PvP for Bannerlord, you know, 500 custom battle kind of things, make sure you put a timer on it, that the attacking side has to attack, and they can't just sit there, right? Like this is this might be what happens if there's no timer. The two sides will just sort of skirmish. All right, they're close enough. It's time to fucking launch into battle here. In fact, they're getting very aggressive. Their archers are trying to spread out right in front of us. Let's get shield walls moved up into them in a hurry. The 8th Corps and the 2nd Corps can move forward. Archers to spread. The 6th Corps I want skirmishing. Those are the skirmishers and archers. I don't want them flying in just yet. Look at this fucking force. I mean, I guess it's not that weak, right? I was saying it's weak. There's fucking Battanian, Fiend champs, and all kinds of tough troops. But we're going to barrel in here now. Our guys are roaring around this edge now, right into the face of all these archers, right? That's part of the reason the enemy didn't want to charge. They have so many archers, and now they're front to front, face to face with our very lightly wounded shock troops, elite companions. This doesn't bode well for the enemy. Now, it's still a massive amount of troops, right? Look at this shit. There's every other guy. I hit his Battanian, Fiend champ, fucking Imperial Sergeant crossbowman. But we're still going to bore in here. The enemy just got reinforcements. Let's get some flanking action on the enemy here. These guys are all bound up on me. I need to just have them attack. The enemy's trying to regroup. This is perfect. We fucking barrel in here like we're fucking drunk. Just fucking reckless. Fuck it. Fucking slugged. The enemy's like half routing, half reforming here. We're going to just tear in. God, they do have a tough army. It's fucking legionnaires everywhere. Sergeant crossbowmen. But we're carving a path, right? The enemy's kind of indecisive about what they want to do here. We're making them pay. Now, I can't just charge indefinitely here. We will get skewered. We're going to have to start spreading archer rings out. Get a shield wall up there. We might even have to square. Where's the 6th and 8th? Let's see. Let's get those guys off the flank, too. I need these guys with me, though, as well, because the enemy is fucking roaring up here. Maybe I misjudged this foe. There's a ton of good troops here. To hell with you. Rip off some arms. Help our companions out. We're going to fucking blaze through these skirmishes of the enemy. We're fighting downhill. That's always an advantage. You get actual more damage if you're fighting downhill. And our archers, of course, have better line of sight. Now, we should get reinforcements soon. I don't see them yet. I'm fighting for my life. I just looked down. I have like a 1/5 of my health. All of these archers are out of ammo. So archers are charging now at this stage. That's how long the fight's been, right? All this jousting back and forth. There's a few guys shooting, but a lot of them are just charging now. They've broken out their little sword. Or the Battanian Fiend champs now are high-end shock troops. The enemy's trying to spread out here, but the only thing that they're going to spread out are their fucking body parts when they're dismembered. You guys are fucking shredded. Oh, shit. This guy's going to fucking hit me in the back. Thankfully, my good armor is keeping me alive here. Not my good armor, my great armor. Right? I have the best armor in the game. Of course, I have 330 athletics. I've got a banner that reduces melee damage as well. People always wonder how some people are just cheating. No, I just have really high-end late gear equipment, right, in this game, right? You can get it too, but obviously you'd have to play for a long time like I have. All right, it's all low-level archers. I'm all by myself here. This is probably dumb, but we're just going to fucking wade through this like we're drunk. We've got the enemy on the run here. The death spam is in our favor. I think we'll get reinforcements soon, and we're just going to keep the pressure on the enemy here. Sometimes you regroup here and you get slaughtered because the enemy starts shooting you in the back. And that's a big reason I'm doing this. All of these archers, if we turn around, it's a matter of time before they start shooting. In fact, they're shooting already. I'm going to get killed here. I'm fucked. Yeah. Surrounded by archers. The Jarl goes down. Fortunately, this guy is badass. This is like his uncle or something like that, Zelik. He's very different. This guy is Cav. Obviously, he's Cav base 330. I just saw their reinforcements pour in. So this guy's at the very back behind the enemy. But the death spam's still going well. Look at all these archers, right? They don't have a good line of sight, and they're being charged by Battanian Fiend champs. Let me finish that, though. So this guy's a spear, shield, Cav, right? Your traditional shock Cav. And then he also has a very nasty one-handed weapon. And of course, because, you know, I love him so much, this guy has 330 javelin skills. Now, he's out of javelins, but this one-handed sword, I almost prefer this against a densely packed troops because he'll just cut down every guy as one shot. Look how fast he swings his weapon, right? And again, I've previewed this guy and some of the other guys in some of our series. The Companion and Blood series, we go over a lot of these guys. These are gods on the battlefield. That's all there is to it. He too, of course, has nearly maxed out armor. And he's just mauling everything in sight. In a lot of ways, he has much more survivability than Zuvan, because not only is he on a horse, generally you have more survivability on a horse, but he's got a shield, right? This guy just has amazing survivability. I just prefer the raw face-to-face that I get with Zuvan. I like being in the pits with the rest of the guys wailing away. I'm trying to get these archers spread out, but this battlefield, it shows you how compacted it is. There's not even any space. I'm getting jammed up on the walls. But we do have an archer reinforcement I'm going to be able to position, I think. Okay, that's going to have to be good enough. They're at the top of the valley there. No, I didn't mean to get off my horse. But this enemy is in a bad way now. Our lines are still crashing into them. Our reinforcement lines are now hitting them, and they're really perplexed about what to do. These guys are packed. They're tightly packed down here, and they're getting butchered, right? They're getting shot now by a new band of archers, right? All those guys, of course, that came out, they all have fresh ammo. Do some spear work here. And it's a massacre, right? The enemy has lower level troops, and I was worried about this. It didn't show up till the last half of the battle here, or last third, or whatever this is. But the enemy now has total fodder troops. These are trained archers and tier 2 archers. These guys have absolutely no chance against our army here. In fact, I'm longing to be on the ground with my men. So as this battle wraps up here, we're going to just slaughter them all with our sword. I guess they could turn on us here. They have a shit ton of troops, but I'm just not worried about it. We now have tier 4 and tier 5 troops ripping through their lines. Botani and Fiend Champs still attacking them, and they have Imperial archers. Like, this is the recipe for slaughter, right? We can get on our sword work here. We can slam some guys in the face with our shield. Even if they attack me, I can just run away. This guy's got almost a full health bar, and it's just game on, right? Like, it's... For a lot of people, this is the ecstasy of battle, right? The enemy's totally fucking confused, terrified, their morale is shaky, and they're being mauled downhill, and we're just obliterating it with superior skill and superior units. It's a complete massacre. There's some high-tempo music playing here as we fucking steamroll through this insolent force of Western Empire. I apologize for the length of this episode. This has been a long, kind of slow episode. Like I said, I may edit some of that out. But I promise also with these episodes where we're ripping through enemy forces in these villages that I find highly defensible. This village has worked as planned. It didn't work as beautifully as planned because the enemy sat back so defensively. It wasn't as obvious to see how beneficial this map was for us. But we will fight a custom battle using average troops, and we will have ourselves outnumbered by the enemy, and we will have that follow this battle, right? We will basically... you'll have a real quick editing. We're beheading a few more guys here. A little quick editing, and then the custom battle. What that'll basically do is show you could do this even if you don't have an elite army like ours, right? If you execute good tactics, you can still win on this battlefield, right? With this village map. This should be something that you guys can do, of course, with practice. Can't buy the game today and do this tomorrow, but you too can maul 3,000 troops. And we lost 230. These are definitely results that you guys at home can come up with. Look at them run. Alright, a pretty well-rounded attack here. None of the companions did overly well. The Fiend Champs, of course, did pretty well. Master Archers, Sturgian Heroic Linebreakers did good work, of course. Your shock troops, as always in these, I like to try to show you the loot, and some of you guys are I don't know what the name is for it, loot mongers or whatever you guys like to see. You know what kind of loot there is at the end of the battle. I get actually people who complain, they're like pissed off I don't show the loot sometimes at the end of battle, so I'm trying to do this more often. I don't always remember, but when I do, I'll try to show you. Obviously, the bigger the battle, the more likely you are to get elite loot, and of course we have gotten a lot of elite loot from battles. Nothing here, nothing exciting, but nevertheless, we move on. Alright, so we're going to follow this up. It's interesting, these other forces look like they might be coming for us as well. But we're going to follow this up. We'll have a custom battle. We will have basically about a 450 on 550 fight and use the same battleground, and I will be right back with that process. All right, as promised, we will do a custom battle here in Popsia. And again, after this second battle here, so we had a little extra battle, a little bit more carnage in this episode. I felt it necessary to include both of those. Hopefully you guys can excuse the long lengths. A lot of guys like the long lengths, so I'm not going to apologize for it. We'll just cruise on here. You can see we're outnumbered by 90, and we're going to fight the Khazate in this battlefield, right? I don't know how much that's going to change things. In fact, I'm going to add 50 troops to the enemy side here, right? We'll make them hugely outnumbering us. And of course, we have the same quality of troops as they do. Now it looks very familiar in the daylight like this. It looks a little different, but this is the identical spot of those last two battles. Again, we're definitely gonna try to use that choking middle walkway or pathway or whatever you want to call it there to choke the enemy in. But this is going to be interesting to see how Khazate fights this battle. The reason I chose Khazate is because it's kind of close to Popsia. This is conceivably the kind of force you might be dealing with trying to defend Popsia, right? Like there's a big fucking Mongol invasion. The Khazate is coming. They're chasing after you with their horse archers, and instead of fighting them in the open, you could fight them in this village. Now the 4th Corps, of course, will do crossbow like I always do, and I'll position them on that ramp there. Might get a little bit more aggressive this battle, just because they're going to have a lot of archers, right? So we want to make an impact early on. A lot of times you can't lay out your units exactly where you want them because of that little dotted line. So what I'm actually going to do here is just lay these out kind of close to where I'm setting them up. And as I start to set these up, as the battle starts, I will kind of show you and tell you what I'm thinking. But very similar to those first two battles, right? At this stage, you guys probably understand that the way I'm fighting these custom battles is usually pretty similar to how I'm fighting in my campaign. The difference, of course, is we don't have companions throwing javelins through the shields of legionaries, right? This is much harder, but nevertheless, even though we're outnumbered, I'm trying to do the math, 150, we're outnumbered by 35%. I still think we can win this battle. So that crossbow division there, because they have shields, I can also square them and use them offensively in a shield wall. I'm going to put infantry in the cav on the right this time. Basically, I'm trying to slow down their horse archers, absorb some arrows, while the rest of our troops get set up. Unfortunately, I have this, I guess it's a woman. She's got a very deep voice. She's the horses over there. She's got a very deep voice, and she's got a stupid axe, and of course, no horse. So until I pick up a horse, she's going to move very slowly. Hopefully you can see, what we're doing here. But if you saw the first two episodes also, I think you learned plenty of tactics and had a pretty good idea of what we're doing there, right? All right. Oh, shit. I didn't think that guy could go right over that walkway. Nevertheless, so we have skirmishers and shock troops. Or excuse me, we have skirmishers and high-level infantry in front of us. We're going to square with the other infantry division. And now we're just letting our archers work, right? We're letting them eat. On the left there, that cav wall is basically there to do exactly what it's doing, right? It's choking up the enemy cav. They're even more choked up on this walkway, and it's massive death spam, right? Even though we're outnumbered, even though they have archers too, we are going to be pounding them in this episode with our archers, crossbows, and skirmishers. Now we have some horse archers. I failed to mention that. But I'm not actually using them very dynamically. Oh shit, that horse, no, that guy went flying. I don't know what happened to him, but that was hilarious. I'm learning to slow-mo those later on so you can enjoy that shit. All right, so their infantry's coming up, but look what's happening to it, right? It's divided. I've got this crossbow division just holding shields up so that they're pretty safe. And they're basically stuck between these two forces, and they're getting shot to pieces. That horse ran right up to me. I said, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. You're not getting through here, motherfucker. Again, we're going to protect our archer corps. Our archer corps is mostly to my right. We're going to charge with the 6th. Now, I also have a cav division back there with the horse archers. Or I like to hybridize those. That way they have a little bit of lead in front of them protecting them. So it's basically there's heavy cav and horse archers there. Look at the death spam. This is against the same quality of troops as us, and that was a solid wave of green. The enemy is being mauled here. I'm getting a little cocky. I'm attacking their horses here. We're trying to get in on the action. I guess we could still lose this battle, but it sure feels good so far. And again, we're outnumbered by some 150 troops. Skirmishers are still going nuts. That elite infantry division is mauling everything in sight. Now we can send the crossbow up. They can start attacking stuff. And you see the shooting gallery we have. Even though I'm just standing here, I only have like 2 arrows. I would just suffered a bunch of death. Oh shit, there goes my horse. Now I'm going to get my ass beat. Kill some Consguards. Run! I hear people routing. I hope that's their troops. Yeah, it's their troops. Look at our infantry pouring down the hill. So our dismounted cavalry is doing really well. And I forgot to mention that. And when there's 9 different things going on, I get distracted. I forgot to tell you, I dismounted our 2nd cav. Basically left their horses to be in the way of the enemy and then used them like infantry. And they're down here smashing everything in sight, right? These Imperial Elite Cataphracts, they're very good infantry. They're not elite, but they're very good. Right? And maybe someone will correct me and say they're elite. But they do a really good job on the ground. And of course, if you can use their horses... I don't know what's happening there because units are getting thrown around. And they're routing, in fact. Just like the first battle, this was such a vicious beating that the enemy forces are routing. The cav routed already, their archers routed, their infantry routed. Now all that's left are these Consguards, right? There's a handful of Consguards left, but this battle is over, right? That was fast and clean. I'll eat your liver, Consguards! Strongest English accent. Alright, we got ourselves a horse here. It'll be interesting to see if I acquire an English accent. I'm diverting from what's going on here because it's just the wrap-up phase. Look at this guy's trapped. Let's kill him, boys. Let's pound this guy. He's stuck against the wall. He can't use his glaive. It's too long. Kill that motherfucker. Good job, dude. Stabbed him. See, that's why you gotta have a shorter axe like I do. Right? You get pinned in the corner like that, and we literally made that guy our bitch. I mean, we could have like slapped him around with our... Yeah, well, never mind. I won't say that. All right. So the British accent thing. My wife and I are a huge fan, for whatever reason, of British shows. I know if you're not from the UK, you're probably retching. You're like, fuck off. But we just have an affinity for them. They're really well made, right? Whether it's the Planet Earth type series or the Crown. Ironically, I despise monarchy and the English monarchy, but the Crown was so well made that my wife and I actually watched quite a bit. I recognize that it's not accurate to history, but there are historical events that's kind of interesting to learn more about and sort of see it from a first-person perspective. That was hilarious. That guy got trampled and then pounded by my mace. This battle is over. Glory, she says, well fought. But it'll be interesting because we watched so much English material, and of course we're going to be traveling and visiting England a lot here in a few years when we're retired. It'll be interesting to see if I acquire an English accent. Every once in a while my wife and I notice little things that we're doing where it's like, did you sound English there? You did sound a little English there. And I digress. Alright, so this battle is over. You can see even the custom battle. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing I want to do. I want to show you the same debacle here as a sergeant. We'll let the AI play it out. You know what, though? They have no chance against what we just won. We just won outnumbered by 150. Let's give them a little closer fight here, but let's see how bad the AI does here, shall we? Straightway, the enemy got annihilated, right? We'll have a little hybrid accent here, and straightway. All right. So I'm playing as a sergeant here. The AI effectively is in charge of all the same forces. It's the exact same troops where we just completely mauled the enemy. Exact same map. And let's see what we do here. I didn't actually see what he told me to do. Usually they give you some kind of command. Like you're supposed to be able to do something by yourself. You know, he's like, hold the left flank. Like with one guy, you're going to go out there and be like, the left flank is secure, sir. We're going to speed this up too. You don't need to watch the whole grueling affair, but I want to see just how tragically bad this is. Look at this shit. It is just piling up all the units as tight as they can. Most of the archers can't shoot because there's some dipshit in front of them with bad breath who's never brushed his teeth standing right in this fucking way. Now it looks like they're charging. They honestly look like they all rushed forward like there was a sale or free Costco samples or something like that, because they all jammed into a big giant glob. Now for sure they're not shooting. All the archers, they're just standing still. There's infantry kind of standing here looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. I don't think our commander knows what we're supposed to do either. And we're going to speed this along. This really is a shame, and I've mentioned it a few times. But the AI borderlines on completely inept. What tactic is that? That isn't one, right? That's just F1, F3. And I didn't do this, folks. Again, I'm not in charge of this shit. This is, I turned this over to the AI, right? This is the sergeant or whatever, the sergeant mode fighting the AI, and evidently it thinks it's just going to blunt it out. I mean, it's getting some kills here, but I don't suspect it's going to win. Now horse archers are shooting it from behind. And this is about as ugly as it gets. Part of the purpose of this is, of course, to show you the value of tactics. If you're one of those guys who's F1, F3, or you're using F6, and I imagine most of the guys on this channel are tactical enthusiasts, and you guys are not doing that. But if you're one of those guys, maybe this is the first episode you're seeing on our channel, and you're still using the AI to fight for you, please don't. Please come to our channel or other channels. Please learn some of the tactics that you can do to dominate your enemy. In fact, we have a whole series designed to help newer players called the Intermediate Tactics series. The whole series of playlists, it's like 10 or 12 videos that take you through step by step from commanding 3 or 4 armies all the way to commanding 8. It doesn't mean you're going to be good in one binge session. You can't just watch 10 episodes and go dominate. But it's like a high school course, right? You study it for a month or two and you will dominate. All right, it actually kind of looks close, but none of this matters, right? That was horrendous tactics. And if they're going to win, it's going to be by the narrowest margin. It does show the value of elevation here. Because their units were running downhill, they did do more damage. That's a factor here. I imagine also Khazate is not designed very well. I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty obvious. They're not designed well for this type of map. Khazate relies on horse archers and movement, and this map restricts movement. The very map itself is a nightmare for movement. There's all these pits and ridges and fucking houses and ditches and shit. And this is, of course, a perfect example of if you're playing Northern Empire, Western Empire, whatever, and you're in this area and you're running from Khazate or you're trying to deal with Khazate, just go to Popsia. Go to Popsia, go to this little village and maul the Khazate, right? You saw what we did with a mediocre army. You too should be able to do the same thing in your own campaign. All right, friends, I'm going to wrap this up because this battle is disgusting. Hopefully you enjoyed the other 2 battles, though. Other 3 battles, really. We had those 2 big battles. I realized they're out of order. Hopefully I didn't bother anybody. I wanted to show the faster battle first. And we will attach this one, of course, at the back. And we'll continue on this village series. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to try to explore the map of Calradia and look for really interesting villages to defend. I love tactics. If you guys can't tell that now, people call that obsessed, right? I like the word passionate. Much nicer connotation than obsessed, right? So I'm passionate about tactics. We're going to be back for some more. Please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of this stuff. If you want to hear some more bad jokes, learn a little bit about history. Please comment and like and all that stuff, as the Northern Empire did lose this battle. With all that said, friends, I will see you friends next time.